I learned that in behind the walls. I learned that when I was clink, right? In an article called "This is Why Gen Z is Going Sober on First Dates," which was published in 2023, reads, a survey from the dating app Hinge earlier this year found that 3 out of 4 of its users no longer prefer going out for drinks as a first date, with Gen Z more likely than millennials to prefer alcohol-free first dates. Nearly 1 in 3 Gen Z Hinge users said they have no drinks on an average date. It's no secret that teenagers and young adults across the developed world are drinking less than ever before. A 2019 global drug survey found Australia to be the drunkest country in the world. But the National Drug Strategy Household Survey that same year found the proportion of people in their 20s abstaining from alcohol had more than doubled in the 18 years between 2001 and 2019, from 9% to 22%. They asked, what's driving Gen Z's sobriety? There is a whole range of factors that seem to be shaping the way young people are moving into adulthood, Dr. Penne told Financial Review in February. And it's not just alcohol consumption going down, it's drug use as well. They're having sex later, they are driving later, going to paid work and leaving home later. They're focusing on the future, doing well at school, doing well at university, making money. It's a competitive job market. When it comes to dry dating, many people, not just Gen Z, somewhat stumbled into it by necessity during the dreaded pandemic years. The default of grabbing a drink or two was no longer an option with restaurants and bars closed, prompting singles to get creative when it came to their first or subsequent dates. Due to lockdown restrictions, all singles could really do was go on walks. So the traditional thinking of meeting for a first date shifted from dinner and drinks to bushwalks, trail walks, dog walks, and any other socially distanced outdoor activities. These types of dates also tend to make more sense as daytime activities, which almost remove the expectation of alcohol and drinks. Personally, I like grocery store outings, pedicures, and trips to the shoe store. Maybe a hookah lounge if the food is good, and Starbucks and then sitting at the park is always a win. They're just more personable dates where you get to ask questions about more day-to-day living. You know, if I'm going to be with you, then we're probably going to end up at a grocery store a few times, right? So I need to know if I enjoy you there. I'm going shoe shopping. Are you going to help pick out shoes, or are you the type to sit on the side and just tell me they look pretty, you know? I need to know that so I know what I want to be with moving forward. I also need to know if the way you chew is going to drive me mad in the future. I need to see how you treat the waiter at restaurants and how you tip. Do you have a giving heart? Are you going by the percentage, or does everybody work for $5? My dad was like that. Nobody could make more than $5. And if you were going to get $5, you had to work. So the article then goes on to say, TikToker user Izzy, who posts under the handle @Sober20s, was asked in a recent video how she bypasses the issue as everyone wants to meet up for drinks. She says, I've always been really upfront about my sobriety, wearing the decision like a badge of honor rather than something to be embarrassed of. If potential partners aren't supportive, move on, Izzy says. They're not for you, they're not for your journey, and they're not going to add to your life. The British founder of Sober Girl Society, one of the world's biggest communities for sober women, has noticed a significant shift in reactions from potential suitors when I tell them I don't drink. The 26-year-old has been sober for 5 years, has given up alcohol in her early 20s, and, quote, thanks to an escalation in my problematic drunk behavior, the once predictable how boring response from dates started to turn into a surprising, oh, cool, I'm trying to cut down too. And the number of guys who have volunteered to join me in not drinking for the evening has only increased. I also find this to be very true. When people find out that I'm sober, they'll often say, yeah, I should probably start drinking less. Or they'll reach out when they sign a DM, they'll tell me, oh, I haven't been drinking so much. And in return, I'm very supportive of that decision. And I often ask, well, how do you feel internally now? Like, just kind of trigger it and maybe get them into some therapy. Little pushes, right? Ross told the BBC that the pivot to alcohol-free dating, quote, has shifted our outlook from a culture of disposable dates and regrettably drunk hookups to one of potential connection. What do you think? Write it in the comments. A 2022 trend survey by the dating app Bumble in the UK found that 60% of people embracing dry dating thought they'd, quote, form a more genuine connection. On a meetup that was alcohol-free, 54% were aiming for more mindful and intentional dating. While pre-sobriety me couldn't have imagined anything worse than sober dating, Gooch agreed, explaining she was able to be herself and surprisingly grew in confidence. Not drinking on dates allowed me to assess if I actually had a connection with someone or if I just fancied them because I'd inhaled vast quantities of gin. Plus, it also helped me to see any red flags that I might not have spotted with a booze brain. That concludes the article. Kanye West said in the Kanye workout plan, Henny make girls look like Halle Berry to me. That is the definition of booze brain. How about that other song with T-Pain and Ludacris? If I take one more drink, I'm gonna end up. Yeah, you know the words. That part, that's booze brain. For me, that's exactly how it would go. Now, I didn't really do one night stands. That's not my thing. But the guys that were courting me, it would expedite the process a little bit. So like, yeah, we would go on dates and such, but it would make it happen a little bit faster. Like, oh, well, we're comfortable. And typically it doesn't start with like, oh, take a drink. Oh, I want to screw. It's not usually like that. It's like, oh, I take a drink. Man, it's hot in here. I should definitely take off my jacket. Whoa. Man, I'm so tired. Let me lay down in your bed. And these things make the process flow. It's not just take a shot and screw everybody. It's the little things. You're giving the enemy a foothold. Little ways in which you just let your guard down, let your guard down, let your guard down. And now your legs are open, right? So having booze brain more or less brings down your defenses. What are our defenses? Our boundaries, maybe? Once your boundaries come down, now what are you doing? You're saying yes more. You're doing things to appease the other person. You're a little bit more self-conscious. You're more in your head. Oh, well, they want me to do this, or this is what I see on TV. This is the way it should go. If you're watching shows like Euphoria, then you understand that thought of this is what I have to do to be hot like this. This is what I have to do to maintain in today's society. And it's not true. And oftentimes it's hard to differentiate reality from somebody's script, especially when you're consuming intoxicating beverages. So after having the booze brain and having these interactions, letting your guard down and letting your boundaries be trampled all over, you wake up the next day and there's regret. Most recognizably, there's something we call the walk of shame. Shame, regret, maybe a little sadness, right? And then you go on with your day. Now, let's start with one simple one, ladies. You go home and your pH is off. Let's talk about it, right? If we're going to do adult things, we're going to have adult conversations. You let someone inside of your body. Now you don't even smell like you no more. You don't feel like you. There was probably an energy exchange that you probably don't want to admit to. You might not even feel like you. Maybe some of your issues from the past are triggered. Now all this stuff comes up. Oh, he didn't call. He didn't call. You know what? You know who else didn't call? My dad. Yeah, right? Then you go forward. Now what do? Oh, well, I just need a drink. I just need a drink to clear my mind. I'm just going to go have fun. And what do? You get drunk again. You do more. And then just like I told you in season 1, what happens when you get drunk? You call that same person. And if that's their MO, they know what type of time you're on when you're on the phone. And most times, and I can say for myself, right? Tequila goes right there. So you're talking crazy on the phone. Oh, I'm going to do this, that, and the third. People pleasing. I'm going to do this, that, and the third to you. Just wait. Da, da, da. All of this. Now you're triggered. Now you go over there, you do it again. And the same thing continues to happen. Or worse, you pick somebody else. Oh, well, he didn't want me to come over. I'm just going to go back to my ex. Now you're at your ex's house. Now you're just a cocktail of PHs, right? Because you're going, right? Yeah. And now you don't know who to trust. After all that is said and done, you don't know who to trust because you're just going with the drink. You're letting the drink control you, literally control your mind. And you're letting things in and in and in and in. And now you don't even trust yourself anymore because every time you get drunk, this is what you do. So then you have to ask yourself, if these are the sorts of things that you do when you're drunk, how do you expect people to take you seriously when you begin to lay boundaries? And then, how do you combat yourself when you're attempting to lay boundaries, but the drink tells you to keep letting your walls down? You're continuing the consumption that's telling you, you don't need boundaries, we're just having fun. You're safe, right? And you just keep letting that same wall down. But then you get sober and you got all these rules and you think so highly of yourself, right? Are you sure that the way that you're living and the things that you're saying are coinciding? Are you sure that you're living your values out loud? Can you see how this toxic pattern gets rid of your self-worth? How it makes you devalue yourself? How the way that you're carrying on under the influence is making other people devalue you? It's making them not take you seriously? You ever have an interaction with a guy and he'll say things like, well, you did it last time. Girl, don't act like that. You know this not your first. Why? Because you did it before. You let him do this that way that time before, and now you think he's going to let you not do that? In particular, y'all know I'm talking about not putting the cap on your mic. You let him not put the cap on his mic before. You think he gonna put it on the next time? He don't take you seriously. Oh, girl, don't worry about it. Here, come on, just sit down, drink this real quick. And now you back at it again with no cap on your mic. How does that make you feel inside? Does that behavior align with your values, how you genuinely feel in the world? Do you want kids right now? How would your life look with an STD, right? Better yet, let's just ask a simple question. How's your pH right now? How you smelling? Yeah. And that's why I find this article to be very helpful. It's intriguing to me that something as ugly as a pandemic could bring about such beautiful results. Did you notice how in the article multiple times they just mentioned that these people are seeking connection? The opposite of addiction is connection. I learned that in behind the walls. I learned that when I was clinked, right? The opposite of addiction is connection, not more consumption. It's not going to help you. You're looking for so much more than you're receiving, and you think that the drink is going to get you there, and really it's taking you further away. Have you ever gotten drunk with someone and there are conversations that they're having with you that A, you won't remember tomorrow. So this person may be under the influence and they're saying, oh, it's going to make me more loose. It's going to make me more vulnerable. I'm going to share more with you. Now this person is telling you their whole life story. They're crying on your shoulder, the whole nine. And the next day you don't remember. They shared something pivotal in who they choose to be today with you under the influence. And because you were under the influence too, you don't remember it tomorrow. Is that the grounds for a genuine connection? How can we build from that? Somebody just showed you their whole soul and you don't even remember. Or you responded like a drunk person, which is never too much better. I've enjoyed the article because it shows me that other people are doing it too, and that really they want what I want. It helps for me to know that being sober, and I've seen it, it's a commodity. When I tell people I don't drink, I'm an anomaly. I sit there just as fun and sexy as everybody else and say, no, I don't drink. Like, thanks. But you could give me some more water though. I love water. You can give me some more water though, and I'm an anomaly. I'm not regular, right? And guess what? I'm also cognizant. I know that I can trust myself to be at this bar and have these interactions and go home and have my same pH tomorrow, okay? Not only does it make me trust myself, but it helps me to build my value in myself. I'm worth so much more than a drunk night. It's not that I got sober and people stopped hitting on me. It's not that I got sober and I stopped getting asked to go on dates. It's that I got sober and I asked the questions that let me know, hey, can I go to the grocery store with you for the rest of my life? Are you about to get on my nerves? Hey, is he really serious, or does he just want to test my limits and see if he can mess up my pH a little bit? I'm cognizant. I have these questions and I'm listening with an open heart, a clear mind, and I'll know immediately. Don't get it confused, y'all. Your discernment is really all you need. If your discernment is on, you know. You ever deal with a guy? Do you have a body, right? Did you catch a body on a drunk night or on a night where you were under the influence of alcohol? And it's like a body where you never thought that you would sleep with that person. You never thought that he would be able to touch it, and you let him do it anyway. Do you have a body like that? Typically, those interactions are alcohol fueled. I got at least 2. Then I'm like, what? I let him touch it? And then I think about it and I trace my steps and I realize it's all a matter of consumption. Where does that come from? Low self-worth. My values and my actions were not aligned, and alcohol didn't help. So this article really just stresses that this is all about connection. And then you have to ask yourself, if you're using alcohol to connect, if you're using that as your point, that'll make you more fun, more lively. To think that you need to be more of anything is incorrect. You are fine just as you are. Just as you are. Emotions come in ebbs and flows. Energy comes in ebbs and flows. You're fine just as you are. You don't need a drink to make you better, right? But then you have to ask yourself, who am I doing all this for? Who am I getting hyped for? Who do I need to be more fun for? You ever notice you'll be in your house and you have so much fun with yourself? You'll be in your house laughing by yourself, talking to yourself, but you need a drink to be more funny? You need a drink to have more fun? Consider who it is that you're entertaining. Maybe that's not your tribe. And anyone that's going to push your boundary when you still decide to go out. It's okay to decide to go out. When you still decide to go out and you say, I don't want to drink tonight, guys. Let me be the DD or something. Or no, I can't drink tonight. I got church in the morning. And they push it on you. Oh, you didn't do that last time. Remember what you did last time? Things of that nature. If you're having those sorts of conversations, you either need to A, set a boundary with that person in particular by confronting it. Why? Because you deserve for them to respect your boundaries. When you say no, it means no. You don't have to explain yourself. Or B, get rid of that person altogether. If you find that you always go out with the intention of not drinking or not having too many, and you always get trashed. You wake up every Sunday morning like, God, why do you do this to me? You don't even go to church, but you in the bed calling for God. You should probably consider who it is that you're spending those Saturday nights with. Where are you going wrong? Now, also remember, you are also to blame. If you don't lay the boundaries, they'll get trampled. If you do lay the boundaries and you don't enforce them, they will get trampled. Your job is to say no. Your job is to maintain what you said the first time and not to explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. So it's advised in your first year of sobriety that you don't date anyone at all. Why? Because you're rediscovering yourself all over again. I am a totally different Domine than I was on 4/27/22. And I've actually been 3 different versions of that same person since then. So you're always evolving. Now, in that time, when you're discovering who you are, you're discovering what you like and what you need, right? The purpose is to, well, for men, if we're going biblically, but in general, the purpose is to find a helpmate, someone that you can help or someone that can help you depending on what your gender is, right? So if I don't know who I am, how do I know what kind of help I need? How do I know how I can help you if I'm trying to discover who I am? So in this time of being single, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't do a whole 365 days single. I did them sober. I didn't do them single though. And by the end of it, I still ended up by myself because I'm changing. I'm outgrowing things that used to fit just fine. This song that I'm going to read to you today brings me a lot of comfort in just the waiting season. And really, I'm not waiting. I'm chilling. I'm living is what I'm doing right now. When my person comes, we're going to live together without living together because, you know, that's not what God wants. But we're going to live together, right? But in the meantime, I'm just letting it happen. I'm living my life. I'm being the best Domine Spinelli that I could possibly be, right? Because one day, if it goes the way that I would like it to, I won't be Domine Spinelli at all, right? So the song is called Dear No One by Tori Kelly. It goes, I like being independent, not so much of an investment, no one to tell me what to do. I like being by myself, don't gotta entertain anybody else. No one to answer to. But sometimes I just want somebody to hold. Someone to give me their jacket when it's cold. Got that young love even when we're old. Yes, sometimes I want someone to grab my hand. Pick me up, hold me close, be my man. I will love you to the end. So if you're out there, I swear to be good to you. But I'm done looking for my future someone. 'Cause when the time is right, you'll be here. But for now, dear no one, this is your love song. I don't really like big crowds. I tend to shut people out. I like my space. But I'd love to have a soulmate, and God will give him to me someday. But I know it'll be worth the wait. So if you're out there, I swear to be good to you. But I'm done looking for my future someone. Because when the time is right, you'll be here. But for now, dear no one, this is your love song. So this episode is dedicated to Grandma Carmen. She was the life of the party. She was living her best life, okay? And she was gone too soon. Grandma Carmen, I just want to thank you for always just being cheerful. It was always a pleasure to see her. She always gave such genuine love, real hugs. I wish that I wouldn't have worked in fear and that I would have just went to Costa Rica to be with her, okay? We were supposed to be in the hot tub, Grandma Carmen, but now we're gonna have to do it in heaven. We're gonna be in the hot tub in Costa Rica heaven, okay? I just wanna thank you for always loving me and always treating us well. She genuinely cared. And the moments that she spent are dearly missed. Because she definitely knew how to get people together and just spread the love. So I thank her, and these flowers today are dedicated to Grandma Carmen. Thank you. Got a sober dating story that tickles the funny bone or warms the heart? share it with the hashtag sober dating adventures. I would love to read it and to interact with you about how much this dating pool is different these days, right? Yeah. If you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you know when I come back with more stories and nonsense, okay? Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us 5 stars. Eugene would like that very much. Till next time, I'll be here. See you later. Bye.